But speaking of the internet, social media, next, let's talk about cybersecurity. You see a lot of big companies get hacked. You probably hear about it in the news. There's a big hack, and a lot of data, sensitive data gets released. And if the big companies can't prevent this with their billion-dollar budgets, then what can a small business do? So here to tell you how you, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, can prevent cyber risk is Aaron Barr from PilQ. Hello, Aaron.
Hi, Philip. How are you?
I gotta say, I love that thing behind you with the, I don't know what it is, but the guy looks like he has a brain, but it's incredible. But anyway, so talk to me. Why are huge companies always getting hacked?
Well, nowadays, mostly it's the employees. Themselves are becoming more sophisticated, and especially now, people are working from home. We've got distributed working environments. People are using their devices for their personal devices, for their work devices, for personal. So everything's kind of mixed together. It all comes down to the person, and paying attention to that email that might look a little bit suspicious, and but sometimes habit of clicking on the wrong things, and that gets us.
Well, is there a way for freelancers and startups to prevent these attacks? And the reason I ask is because when you say emails that come in that look suspicious, can a lot of this be prevented just by using discernment and common sense?
Well, that's really what it comes down to nowadays, and that's certainly what I've been focused on. My company's been focused on is individuals become better decision makers, coming in, things that they're clicking on. That's kind of where the battleground is right now, is helping to train users on what techniques, and those techniques are becoming more sophisticated every day. But what techniques people are using, what information we're sharing online. The previous segment you were talking about influencers. Yeah, it's really important now. We're spending more and more time in the digital space. We're putting more of ourselves online. Well, that information is being used against us. And so being really, not blocking everything that we're putting out, but being discerning about what we're putting out there, understanding what's out there, and paying attention to our practices online. So we're protecting ourselves.
All right, but how does your product work to prevent these hacking? If I'm a small business owner and I have a team I'm running on Slack or and Gmail, how do I prevent that? How does your product work for that?
Well, so what our particular product does is we take a look at your digital footprint, and we look about what information is exposed across your social media profiles, and we help the users understand how that information can be used in aggregate by a sophisticated attacker to, maybe impersonate a friend, a relationship, a business relationship, an interest, put context around these spear phishing attacks, which are more and more difficult to identify as the attackers themselves are becoming more sophisticated. Right. And then we actually send out spear phishing simulations and things like that to help train the user.
All right, real quick, if switching gears a little bit to something that's more almost macro, if you're with a bank or with an airline and they get hacked, and you as the user get affected, what can we do? What's the solution there? How can we protect ourselves?
Right. So it really comes down to some tried and true practices. One is there's some great resources. We provide those resources. There's others, like there's a free website called haveibeenpwned.com where you can go check to see if any of the email addresses that you've used have been part of large data breaches, whether it be, a large retailer or, like you said, an airline company. Also, we evangelize, we preach a lot about having not only good password practices and changing your passwords every so often, having long passwords, right? The complexity isn't really as important anymore as much as the length of the password, but also having good digital or email hygiene, having different email addresses for your private banking, for your personal relationships, your social media accounts, and then have a throwaway email address for those things that we sign up for that require one that we really don't care about. But separating those email addresses you have does get compromised. When your data does get compromised, it's siloed and doesn't spread across your entire digital life.
So Aaron, where can people find you and learn more about what it is that you do?
Sure, absolutely. So go to PilQmedia.com. We've got
Hey,
lots of great
PilQ and
information,
PilQ, P-I-I-Q.
That's correct. PilQmedia.com. We've got lots of great resources. We've got a spear phishing test you can take. We've got a social media use policy that gives a nice checklist on there on how you should be managing your social media accounts and lowering your risk. All free to use. Just sign up.
Awesome. Thank you for all the advice and all the pointers, Aaron.
All right. Take care.
You too, brother.